Hi, how's it going? This is a quick tutorial on how to install fog slash off-road lights. They're really both the same, but I just want to show you guys the easiest way to install them without using a relay. It's just directly wiring them to a switch and to the battery, but it's pretty easy to do. And here's what you're gonna need. Alright, so now the parts you're gonna need are the fog lights. Obviously, that's what you're gonna be installing. Second of all, you're gonna need some red and black wire. For this project, I use 16 gauge wire. You're also going to need some heat shrink tubing. You will also need some spade connectors. That's for the grounds that we're going to be attaching. You're going to need some quick disconnect terminals. That's for the positive end. You're going to have to make some longer wires. You're also going to need a lighter. That's just to heat up the heat shrink tubing to put on the exposed wire to insulate it. You're going to need a wire crimper, some butt connectors, just miscellaneous things you might need here and there to finish off this project. And you're also going to need some electrical tubing or conduit tubing just to keep the wires waterproof and protected. And I forgot to put in here, you're also going to need a pair of scissors as well to cut all this. Alright, now that you got your fog light here, you're going to see two wires on the back of it. There's going to be a red for positive and a black for negative. Now what you're going to want to do is get some extra black wire. That's going to be our negative wire. You're going to want to cut it to size, and then you're going to want to go back to the fog light and strip off a bit of insulation in the back of the black wire, which is the negative. Now from there, all you're going to do is put on a butt connector. I recommend those little red ones, because that's, I believe, 18 to 16 gauge. And since I'm using 16 gauge, it's going to be perfect for it. You're going to want to place it at the end and crimp it down with your crimping tool. Now that you've already inserted the part of the other ground wire that you just cut from your roll of wire, you just put that into the other end of the butt connector and crimp it down. From here, we're going to slide a piece of heat shrink tubing onto that. You're just going to heat it up to where it forms over the butt connection you made and the wire, which is going to make it stay on there a lot stronger. What I like to do is just put some zip ties on there to secure it in even more. Just put them on there tight and cut off the ends. Now we're going to go back here to the other part of the wire that we just cut. This is going to be where our spade terminal connects. Now what you're going to want to do is, before you put the spade terminal on there, you're going to want to slide the piece of heat shrink tubing on there, because you'll see that once you put the spade terminal on there and crimp it down, you're not going to be able to get a piece of heat shrink tubing on there, so it's going to be easier to do it beforehand. And all you do now is just put your terminal on there, crimp it down, and slide the heat shrink tubing into place and heat it up, and that's how it should look right there, your ground wire, at least right now. And after that, you can just get some wire wrap and wrap it around there to make it more secure and waterproof. And what I also like to do here is just put a zip tie at the end of that to keep it all secured. Alright, now you're going to want to get your red positive wire here from your roll. And now before you do anything, what you're going to want to do is just measure out how far length you're going to need of wire to reach. Well, obviously one side's going to be longer than the other. Once you join them both together, it'll be easy with the connectors you have there. So basically what you're doing is making a little harness out of here. Now you're going to go back to the fog light. You're going to get the red positive wire lead. You're going to strip off some end of the insulation just like we did to the negative end. You're going to put some heat shrink tubing on there. You're going to crimp on your disconnect right there. Slide the heat shrink tubing over it, heat it up. And then also what I did here as well is just put some zip ties to secure it further. After that, all you do is just put some wire cover on it and secure it. Now you're going to go back to the custom cut piece of wire you had earlier and put some connectors on there and crimp them down. Now you got your long end harness, which is going to go from your right side passenger side fog light. It's going to meet up to your closer end, which is on the driver's side fog light. And what you're going to want to do now is just secure it inside the engine bay somewhere. In this truck, all I did was secure it to the radiator core support using some zip ties with the wiring that was already there for the lights in the truck. And what you gotta do now is just find a nice neat little spot to put it in. I got lucky because my truck here has an opening for where the side marker light goes right there, and I just slid it under there. And also you just do the same thing to your other fog light, just the same as we did before to the other one. Now what you're going to need to do is make some brackets. You don't really have to do this, you can just drill straight into the bumper, but in my case I didn't know exactly where I was going to end up putting them, so I just made these custom brackets here. I bought these from Home Depot for like 60 cents. And the thing is, you're going to have to modify those because they are not going to fit the way they are. What I did is went to the bumper, took off one of the mounting bolts. And also, what you're going to want to do here is, if you do use some custom brackets like I did. I just shaved off the ends because they're very sharp. You don't want to get stabbed. And then since I didn't really have the right tools to cut through there, I just had to get a grinder and make a little open area so the bolt would fit through. And there are the both brackets I custom made there. I had to drill a hole in the top, which is going to be the bolt that goes from the fog light into there and secures it on. And I would highly suggest painting these if you're going to go that route, because they will rust and corrode. And there it is on the bumper right there. It looks pretty good, and it is pretty sturdy, so I went with that. And that's it. I just put them on there and bolted them on. The wiring here is pretty straightforward. And now as far as the grounding goes right here, the ground wire that we previously made, it's just going to go down over the bottom of the bumper, and I was able to secure it up here to the bumper bracket just using the washers and the nuts that we got from earlier. And that's it. I just put them on there, bolted them on, just make sure they're on tight, secure, good ground, and you're pretty much good to go. And here's the finished product right here. These fog lights turn on. They're pretty good. I got them working with the switch. It's all straightforward. That's going to be coming up next to show you exactly how it goes. And I did all this without even using the wiring that came in the kit. I just like to do it my own way, and the way I see it, it's a lot easier to do it that way. But check this out.
Alright, so here it is, the wiring I did here. Wiring up these fog lights or off-road lights, whatever you might call them, onto my 1988 D150. And instead of using the wires that came in the kit, I actually just went ahead and did it on my own here. So see right here, I got a negative going down here to the bumper bracket. Down there. Got it right there. There's the ground for those. And the other light over there. I got the power going back here up into the radiator core support. Same thing over here as well, except I made this one a lot longer, going along this channel right here. All the way up here I made a simple Y connect. This is just for demonstration purposes, but eventually I'm going to wire it straight into the truck's wiring. And I got it right here. I used the switch that came in the kit just to show you guys how it works. This is not the way you're supposed to wire it, but just for demonstration purposes. And when you flip the switch, this is what happens. Got power to them and everything, and they're fine. I am going to run a fuse in line with the battery just to be safe, but I just wanted to show you guys how this worked. But yeah, they work fine. And all the wiring goes down here to like a little fuse block I put in. I don't know if you can see that very well. It looks all crowded down here, but it's actually pretty simple. So basically, eventually I'm just going to have this. It's going to be in the truck with another toggle switch. It's going to be the same ones that are in the truck. And that's how it'll work. It'll just run up to the fuse box, straight to the battery. That works just fine. I didn't even have to use a relay or anything. It should be safe. It's got a fuse in line, so if anything happens, it should just blow the fuse. I still got to wire this air horn set I have right here. I got from Harbor Freight Tools for like 15 bucks. And I got a set of regular horns that I'm going to eventually put in the truck. We'll wire it up to it. Because I never got a horn in this truck anyway, and I'm just going to get a custom steering wheel that has a button right in the center here and just wire it up to that so it'll work as a regular horn. Because I do like horns. I like to have accessories on this truck anyway. But that's how it goes right now, and that's pretty much how you simply wire up a set of fog lights or off-road lights, whatever you might call them. Pretty good, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Thanks for watching.